and welcome to Stim Pixels, the place to be if you like retro games. My name's Greg, thanks for stopping by. I've got a treat for you today. Well, it's more of a treat for me really, because it's one of my favourite series of all time, but here we go. Mortal Kombat Gold for the Sega Dreamcast. This will probably be a quick and easy one, as there's not really much to say about the Mortal Kombat series that hasn't been said before. The original titles hit the arcades back in 1993, not long after Street Fighter 2, and between the two, they fought it out for the most popular fighting game. Although I do love Mortal Kombat, it's pretty clear to me and maybe everyone that Street Fighter won that battle ultimately, but Mortal Kombat was never far behind. This particular title was a port of Mortal Kombat 4, which hit the arcades back in 1997. While it did play similarly to the previous three titles in the series, it was notably different in that it was pseudo 3D. The models were 3D, but it played on a 2D plane. It also introduced weapons, which honestly never really worked well in the series, but they were there. So yeah, there was a good reason to port Mortal Kombat to the Dreamcast. It was a popular series at the time, and there were no other Mortal Kombat titles on the platform. In fact, this was the only Mortal Kombat game released on the Dreamcast. It included several more fighters and stages than Mortal Kombat 4, but was largely the same game. However, it was also released at around the same time that Soul Calibur was released on Dreamcast and was compared unfavourably, sadly. Now, straight up, I said it before and I'll say it again for those in the back that maybe couldn't hear, I love Mortal Kombat in all of its incarnations. However, this was just one of very few games in the series that I hadn't yet played and I wanted to see what it was like. So my fun is hopefully your gain, and together we win. Huzzah. First up, if you played Mortal Kombat 4, you've played this. It's fast, it has a run button, so it has a bunch of fast-paced combos. Not all Mortal Kombat games have this, but those that do are stupidly fun to play. In fact, it still plays really well. And once I got the hang of it, I ended up kicking some ass, although it did take a little while. But I did have some issues. Let's list them out fast money style. The moveset per character is slim, with about 3 or 4 specials per character. Ultimately, they all felt the same otherwise. Fatalities, which are a staple of the series, are way too long to remember and even harder to pull off. I couldn't even pull off the easy ones, which made me a sad panda. The end bosses, especially Goro, are cheap. And did I cheat to get past him? Maybe. There's just not a lot to it. This was the way of fighting games at the time, but the very next version of Mortal Kombat brought a whole bunch of extra content. It's no wonder this game reviewed poorly, as there really isn't all that much to do. Weapons, as I mentioned earlier, feel kind of pointless. This isn't a new observation, but it remains true in this game. There's virtually no reason to get them out. Some moves take way too long to pull off, and readying your weapons also commits this crime. Some moves actually require you to hold down a button for 3 seconds in a fighting game. Yes, really. It's stupid. It's kind of glitchy and buggy, and sometimes the camera is unable to follow the speed of the game. Honestly, this kind of feedback is fairly normal for fighting games. Certain moves don't work, there's not enough to keep you going, it's glitchy, it's pretty much par for the course. In the end, you can't please everyone, although you don't want a game to be glitchy. But when it comes to content, it really is quite sparse. There's the arcade mode with 1v1 and 2v2, there's a team mode and endurance mode, which does have a few options, a tournament mode, and practice. And that's about it. It seems like there's a bunch of modes there, but they're really just variations of the same thing. Team lets you pit a team of 5 fighters against another team of 5. Endurance sees you trying the traditional Mortal Kombat towers, but all on a single life. Tournament is really for couch PvP. Practice mode gives you limited insight into the mechanics and is the only place where you can access a list of moves on the pause screen, but it could have been so much better. It really would have benefited from a handheld training mode that explained the mechanics, at the very least. But honestly, it needed a lot more than that if it wanted people coming back for more. It scored quite poorly at the time, averaging 5 or 6 out of 10, which, even given my love for the series, is probably pretty accurate. Game Revolution put it well at the time when they said, it's quite a depressing letdown on Sega's 128-bit masterpiece, especially when compared to Soul Calibur. There's no denying that last bit. However, overall, and given the benefit of hindsight, while it probably was not great even for the time, and particularly when compared to Soul Calibur, it was still damned fun. I was never a really big fan of Mortal Kombat 4, to be honest, and although this didn't change things all that much for me, I still enjoyed it, and it's probably the best version of it. I mean, there's 6 more characters to choose from for a start. That's a clear bonus. Will I come back for more? Maybe. If all I want to do is kill some time, it's not the worst game to do that with. Sure, there are other Mortal Kombat games I'd prefer to play, but this one's still alright. Plus, there are plenty of places to play Mortal Kombat 4. You can grab it cheaply on GOG, for example, but if you want Mortal Kombat Gold, with its extra characters, you need to track down the original, and sadly it's not overly cheap, coming in at around the same price as a modern full-price title. But then again, the next 3 titles in the series were also 3D, and all 3 of them were objectively better than Mortal Kombat Gold, so you can always give this one a miss unless you're a diehard like myself. Anyway, that'll do for today, and I'd probably expect more Mortal Kombat content at some point in the future. You can pretty much guarantee it. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you here again next time. Let's play all the games.